So that's me with a full tank of fuel. I actually filled it right to the brim, and I still had 20 zlotys left over, so I just bought some chocolate, 2 Twixes and 2 Bounties, so that'll do for a snack. And I remember when I went to West Africa, you know, you'd leave one country and go into another, and I still have loads of money left over, and I think, oh, why didn't I spend it before I left? But so I've got into the habit now. I've got some currency left over. It's always a bit of a nightmare, really, because when you go into a country, you never really know how much currency to get, how much money you'll need. Because if you get too much, you might have too much left over. So what I'll tend to do, I'll do it in £50 chunks. I have got some euros stuffed away, hidden about my person for emergency money. But generally, when I'm going into a country, I sort of tend to do £50 at first. And then get more if I need it. So, what's the name of this town? I haven't a clue. But when I go into a place, I always smile at the person behind the desk, behind the counter, and say good morning. So I went in there, good morning. She had a face like thunder. Oh, she must have got out the wrong side of the bed this morning. Well, we're all different, aren't we? We're all different. Some lovely houses in Poland, absolutely beautiful houses. Let's get rid of this car. Right, I'll put some music on while I enjoy my last few miles in Poland. I think I've probably got about 100k before I cross over into Lithuania. 80 kilometers, something like that. Oh, what's that in the middle of the road? Looks like a dead fox. Might have been a little moggy, I don't know. It had the colouring of a fox, but it did have a bushy tail, so I think it was a little moggy. Oh, poor moggy. Right, music on, speak to you soon, bye bye.
I'm an expert at overthinking things that I shouldn't. You come across as a cool guy, someone is the opposite. Can we just stay here?
Goodbye Poland. That's the border. And hello Lithuania. I am now in Lithuania. Not that it's any different, although the roads do seem different. Well, hello Lithuania. Into Lithuania, and I'm at a town called Lakeside. I don't know. I can't pronounce it. Lakeside. Anyway, my first task is to find an ATM. I had a look a little while earlier, set my phone to tell me where the ATM is, so I'm going to go to the ATM, get some money, and then find a shop, get some food, because my campsite is about 10 miles away. So I was going to move on maybe to Vilnius, but I'm going to go to this park where I've got all the statues, and there's a campsite not just down the road, so I'm going to camp there. But first thing is get some money and get some food. That's it. Lakeside. I don't know how they pronounce it. Right, money. Well, that's the money sorted. And now I've got to find some food. I've got my emergency tin of tuna fish. Which I could have, but I need milk for my breakfast anyway. And oh, that's pretty. Lots of lakes here. Lots of wooden houses. Bound to be a little supermarket here somewhere. I think that was a little supermarket. It's a big church for a small village. Oh, I spy, my little eye, something beginning with S. There we go, supermarket. that's me, got my shopping sorted out and got everything I needed. Bread, milk, cereal and something to eat tonight. This is going to be good. I think that's the privy. Right, where shall I camp? Someone's got a plastic teepee. I think this will do me. Somewhere around here. That's pretty nice, isn't it? And good morning, the internet, and hello to my subscriber. Well, I'm in Lithuania, and My tent is just behind me, this little jetty, because just behind me is this beautiful lake, and I feel as though I'm in a nature documentary. It's beautiful, isn't it? So I got into Lithuania yesterday, left Poland early yesterday morning and started heading in a northeasterly direction. And northern Poland is beautiful, just lots of forest, lots of agricultural, it's just rolling hills, very green, very lush. And then before I knew it, I was in Lithuania, and Lithuania is no different. It's just the same as northern Poland. They share the same geography, so lots of forests. But in Lithuania, there's lots of little lakes like this, or in this part of Lithuania anyway. So I got here in the early afternoon, set up my campsite, and enjoyed a beautiful cup of tea with this wonderful view. And the best of all is this campsite's free. In the forests there are campsites, and you can come here and you can camp for free as long as you take all your litter, and they've even got pontoons so you can go swimming. There was people swimming yesterday when I arrived, but nope, I'm not doing it. But yeah, once I got sorted, I rode down east about 40 kilometres to a place called Grutas Park. And I wanted to go there because for many years Russia occupied Lithuania and treated it as part of Mother Russia. And there was lots and lots of statues, so when Lithuania gained its independence, some of the statues were destroyed, but the remainder were collected, and eventually they put them in a park, which is Grutas Park, and there's about 120 of them, and just like busts, sort of like 2 feet high, something like that, but some of them are absolutely huge, really big statues. And I love art, and I love Soviet art because it's very bold, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to come and visit that park. And I walked around for a couple of hours and I enjoyed it, took lots of pictures, and there was an information centre and museum there which told you a lot more about the history of Lithuania, and a lot of artifacts there as well, so it was really interesting. And there was also a small zoo with wallabies and emus and lots of different types of ducks, which is great for the kids, but I just wanted to go and see the statues, and that was it. So I come back here and enjoyed a leisurely evening by the lake. Seeing all the steam rising, the mist. I just feel as though I'm in a nature documentary. It's weird. So yeah, campsite is there. The sun is just starting to come up now, which is quite nice. And I'm just about to hit the road in a little while. So today I'm heading in a northerly direction. I was going to go to Vilnius, but no, I'm going to head towards like the centre of Lithuania, and then I'm going to start heading towards the coast, and then I can go around, and then I can hit the coast on Latvia, follow the coast round Latvia all the way to Tallinn. I think that's the plan. That seemed like a plan. There we go, decision made. So yeah, so in a peaceful campsite in just the southern tip of Lithuania, in this amazing scenery, I'm going to wish you goodbye. But yesterday was an easy ride, about 200, a little bit over 200 kilometres, plus another 80 kilometres to go to that park. So Yeah, so I rode about 300 kilometres yesterday. It wasn't a great deal. The roads up here are a bit bumpy, to say the least. It's just where they've been patched and patched and patched and patched. But I imagine it's quite hard with roads in this part of the world, because for some months of the year, I suppose, everything's frozen and full of snow. So, but there was a town, I can't remember the name of the town. I went through a town yesterday. Oh, it was so beautiful, so pretty. And there was a big blue and white church in the centre of a roundabout. It was beautiful. One of the only problems being on this lake is mosquitoes. I don't know what it is about mosquitoes. They always make a beeline for me. I don't know what it is, but I'm forever wafting mosquitoes away. However much stuff I put on, they still seem to find me. So it's little things like I've got a couple of bites on my fingers, and they're annoying, really annoying. And I've got a couple of bites on the top of my head as well. So obviously, being bald, I've got a nice landing strip on top of the head for the mosquitoes. So thanks for watching, and I'll speak to you again soon. Bye bye. Well, that's me leaving my campsite next to the lake, and that was really quite nice. I was going to stay for another night, but it was a bit noisy late last night. Lots of people drinking beer and chatting till late. But there you go. So I'm going to head on. Today I'm heading in a northwesterly direction, and heading to a place called Kaunas, Kaunas. You've still got the mist rising. It's really, it's beautiful, but it's quite eerie at the same time. So yeah, Lithuania. You don't. Most people have heard of Lithuania, but you don't know much about it, do you? And yesterday, when I went to Grutas Park to look at all the Soviet statues, there was an information centre, and I learnt more about the history of Lithuania. Before World War II, it was an independent country. And then the Russians invaded in 1941, and they quickly retreated because the Germans invaded. And there was some active resistance while the Germans were here. And the Germans were brutal in putting down any uprisings. And in 1945, when the Germans retreated, well, 1944 really, 1944, and everyone thought, great, we'll be free again. And then the Russians came, and they stayed. And from 1945 onwards, the first thing they did was disappear all the intelligentsia, the professors, the doctors, the military, the civilian leaders. They all disappeared. And then between 1945 and 1952, the Russians started deporting Lithuanians into Russia. Not only Siberia, but all over Russia. And And the two reasons for that is, one, they could dispel any sort of uprising or any sort of longing for freedom. Oh, these speed bumps are killers. So despite dispelling any feelings of independence, it was also a cheap and free source of labour for the Russians. And between 45 and 1952, there's about 130,000 Lithuanians were deported into Russia. About 70% of them were women and children, and of course the children could be assimilated into Soviet culture. And it wasn't until about the early 1960s, mid-1960s, that a lot of the Lithuanians, or some of the Lithuanians, were allowed to come back to Lithuania, because by that time Lithuania was part of the Soviet bloc, and about 30,000 came back. About 60,000 came back, were allowed to come back to Lithuania. 30,000 weren't allowed to leave at all. And then about 28,000 were never heard from again, completely disappeared. They reckon they must have succumbed during their time in Russia. God, these Lithuanians don't know how to drive fast. So today I'm heading to Kaunas first. They've got a decathlon there, so I'm going to get some camping gas. I'm down to my last cylinder now. There's a nuclear bunker there as well. I'm not really sure whether I was looking online. See what I mean about these? They'll go like crazy to overtake you, and like 2 kilometres down the road they turn in. You know, what is the point of that at all? But crazy. So yeah, there's a nuclear bunker in Kaunas I was thinking of having a look at, but I looked online and the pictures are just like, you get some sort of museums, and I saw that a lot on the D-Day beaches. It'll say museum, and all it is just a collection of memorabilia. And you know, I prefer a museum to tell you why and how and wherefore and things like that. If it's just a collection of memorabilia, I'm not really bothered. So I'm not really sure about the nuclear bunker. And then after that, I'm just sort of heading to the coast. So I think it's called Kayanapia. I'm not really, I can't pronounce it. And then hopefully I'll camp there tonight. But the sun is out today. It's 16 degrees. It was 15.5 when I left. 16 degrees now. It was quite beautiful. I was up at 6 this morning. I just sat outside and just having a cup of tea. I had my breakfast, had a cup of tea, and it was like this mist over the lake, and it was absolutely beautiful. You take a picture, but the picture is still not as good as what you see through your eyes. And all the houses here are wood, and I think that's what you get in this northern part of Europe. They're all made of wood. I think they resist the cold a lot better than brick houses. So it's definitely a beautiful part of the world, a very peaceful part of the world. And when I went to go to that place yesterday where there was all the statues, it was about 40k there and 40k back, and going through the forest I saw quite a few signs for campsites, so I think camping is quite prevalent up here. and I needed to go to the toilet this morning, but there was a queue. By the time I'd sort of had my breakfast, got the bike sorted out, I thought, right, I need to go to the loo, and then there was a queue, so I thought, so hopefully I'll find a petrol station soon with some toilets. Early morning is the best time of the day. It's just gone 8 o'clock now. Sun is up, it's peaceful, and it's going to be a nice day today. Yesterday was quite gruesome, very overcast, very grey. A little bit of rain yesterday evening, not much, but today is going to be a beautiful day. Now tomorrow, I know we're going to get some really, really heavy rain tomorrow, so wherever I end up tonight, I'm going to stay there for 2 nights, because tomorrow it's just going to be wet all day. So I can catch up with some video editing tomorrow, and I've got quite a bit to do, so that's what I'll be doing tomorrow. So we're into the forest now, so I'm going to love you and leave you. I'm going to put some music on, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye bye. come to northern Lithuania to come and see this place, which is the Hill of Crosses. It's an Instagrammer's dream. Look at them, all the Instagrammers there, they're all can't move for Instagrammers. Well, that was something else. The Hill of Crosses. There's no information there, so I don't know. But there was hundreds of big crosses and thousands of medium-sized crosses and hundreds of thousands of tiny little crosses where people have put crosses on the medium-sized crosses. Oh, hundreds of thousands, absolutely amazing. But initially we were in the car park, and where the motorcycle parking was, some Lithuanians had parked their cars in there. So I parked it in a car spot, and I was told I couldn't park it. Had to park in the motorcycle spot. So I says, how? And they just shrugged their shoulders. There you go. So wow, that was amazing, utterly amazing. Right, I'm heading east now. No, in fact, I'm heading west, heading towards the coast. Now, looking on the weather forecast tomorrow, we're going to get heavy rain all day. So wherever I end up, I'm going to stay there for 2 nights. Now, my first campsite is about 114 kilometres away. These junctions are a little bit strange. I suppose if you're Lithuanian, you know what the junctions are like. But yeah, my first campsite is 114 kilometres away. Ideally, what I wanted to do was hit the coast of Lithuania. We're telling it now at 3 o'clock now. I'm going to make some miles up and then we'll see how I feel. But, right, I'm going to put some music on and I'll speak to you soon. Bye bye. Hello the internet, and hello to my subscriber. And I'm at this lovely free campsite next to a lake. Just behind me there is a lake. Where am I? I'm somewhere sort of northern bit of Lithuania, just over to the left a little bit, over to the west, and it's beautiful. All this peace and quiet. And I've even got a little gazebo thing there, so I've got me cooking stuff. And it's free, absolutely free. So I, what was it, a couple of days ago, I lost track of time. You know, I do that. I just lose track of time doing this. I don't even know what day it is. It feels like a Friday today, but I don't think it is somehow. I probably think it's a Sunday. I honestly don't know. So I left my campsite this morning next to another lake, and I started heading north, and I headed for a place called Kaunas, Kaunas, Kaunas. And I went there for two reasons. First off, I needed some gas, so I went to the Decathlon. Fortunately, they had some, so I got some gas. And then there was a Soviet-era nuclear bunker I wanted to see, which is a museum. And unfortunately, I got there, it was closed. So I looked on the website in the morning, but it was closed, so there we go. So I headed north again, and I went straight up, and I went to a place, I can't remember the name of the place now, but I went to see something called the Hill of Crosses. And the hill, there was a small fort there apparently dating back to the Middle Ages, and that got torn down, and about 1831 someone put a cross there, and someone put a few more crosses, and the crosses have just accumulated since the 1830s. And you've got this hill, and there's thousands and thousands and thousands of crosses. And in fact, it's not one hill, it's more like there's two hills really, but there's hundreds of big crosses, thousands of medium-sized crosses, and millions of tiny crosses that people have laid there, hanging off the bigger crosses. It's something I've never seen before, and it was completely bizarre, completely amazing. But apparently it's a place of pilgrimage now as well. So yeah, it was a strange old place, but definitely worth going to see. And there was a big car park there just up the road with like a visitor centre, toilets and a cafe. It was busy, so I just parked up the road right near the crosses, and there was plenty of space, so getting there. So if you're going to go there, don't go in the car park, just go up the road a little bit. So and from there I sort of headed west then towards the coast, and I was going to head right to the coast itself to a place called Kaiapedia, but in the end I knew this campsite was here, so I thought I'm going to do a few more nights while camping. It's like the place I've just left. There was pit toilets, no water, and it's the same with this place, just drop toilets, and there's no water. So when you're doing wild camping like this, you've just got to make sure you got your food and got your water with you. So before I came here, I stopped at a shop, got some food and I got some water, so I'm okay for a couple of days. But yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. And apparently looking around Lithuania, when you go through the forest, I have seen quite a few signs for camping. So I think this is quite popular in Lithuania. So if you want to do some wild camping, come to Lithuania. So here I am. I'm going to be here for 2 nights. Going to chill out. I'm going to try and do some video editing, but depends how much battery power I've got. But if the batteries fail, then I'll just have to chill out, won't I, and enjoy the peace and quiet and the tranquility. And I went to get some water before for washing my pots and pans and things. And actually, I sort of, there's some steps leading into the water, and I went in the water up to my knees, and it's really quite warm actually. And it almost encouraged me to want to go for a swim, but I forgot my swimming shorts. Anyway, I'm here now, a couple of nights, and then what I'm going to do, head to the coast, west of the coast, follow the coast round into Latvia, and I'm going to head for Tallinn, which will be my next port of call. So, thanks for watching. I can't get over this. Absolutely beautiful. And just behind me there, where those vehicles are, you can just see the lake in the background, and there's little shelters, lots of benches, and they've even got, well, you can have a bonfire if you want to have a bonfire. No shortage of wood in this place, is there? So, thanks for watching, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye bye.